The Manchester suicide bomber, identified as 22-year-old Salman al-Bidi. He's killed 22, injured dozens. In fact, I think the number's over 100 now, by setting off an IED near one of the concert arena's exit. It's not even clear if he was inside and even had a ticket. This follows a terrorism trend where attackers target the areas before security checkpoints, raising new concerns about soft targets in the U.S. Here to explain is Paul Viollas. He is the former supervisor for the New York District Attorney's Criminal Court Unit and played a pivotal role in the 2014 security situation with the Super Bowl at MetLife Stadium. So first off, when you hear about how the British approach security in a metropolitan area, a little different than us.
No question, Brian. I mean, you know, we got a lot of heat. I remember when the planning of the Super Bowl was at the Giant Stadium, because people were saying how inconvenient it was going to be and how much time it was going to cost vendors because they pushed the perimeter back. But in pushing the perimeter back that far, even though they had so many threats against that venue, not one thing happened. They were able to successfully screen the undercarriage of every vehicle and properly check all bags before they were allowed in.
And this guy, he said this, should be clear, this wasn't a guy with a vest.
Correct.
He didn't even have a backpack. He had a bag.
That's correct. I mean, Brian, everyone was talking suicide bomber. Suicide bomber is strapped. He was not strapped. He was carrying a bag. Think about how when we transition to the United States, when we go to venues, when we bring our families to venues and someone asks your wife, well, let me look inside your bag. Are they really checking for anything, or they just take a cursory look and move on? If they really checked his bag, it begs the question, what are the qualifications of the person that was doing that screening? That's the thing that we need to be looking at.
And was he supposed to be a suicide bomber to go off prematurely? If you're carrying a bag, that's not usually how a suicide bomber operates, right?
That is absolutely correct. Remember, Brian, it's a different profile. The pedigree of the individual that's going to plant an IED as opposed to someone who's going to go in strapped, two entirely different things.
If I go to an event, I need a ticket, and it looks like he's in the foyer area. It's not even clear he needed a ticket at that point. The concert's over, people coming out. He walks in, bright red shirt, carrying a bag. I don't know what's suspicious about that. Could that slip by American security?
Well, let's use Yankee Stadium, for example, because I'm familiar with that. You still, when the game is over, you still can't get in. They shut access down at that point. So, you know, it comes down to policy and procedure. It comes down to us accepting a different role with respect to security. And that's just not just moving perimeter back, but it's also crisis management from that particular stage.
Also, we understand, too, the brother's been detained, at least maybe arrested. They expect they're on the ultimate, the highest alert possible in Britain. Do you think does this look to you like a cell? Do you expect more arrests today?
Yes and yes, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the composite of the ordnance that was used, he was cooked. I mean, he was taught how to make it. And there was no question that a lot of time and effort went into why that venue, why that particular concert, the demographic of those that were attending, and why at that particular time and why at that particular location. He was coached and he was trained. Other people are going to be arrested, not just today, but going forward. Remember, Brian, you and I have talked about this before. When we look at London, London has more CCTV coverage than any city in the world. They're going to forensically look at, backtrace where he came from, who he met with, cars he got in, modes of transportation he took. They're going to investigate all those people. So, and the Brits are really, really good at this. They're methodical. More arrests are going to be made, and you're going to find, I would not be surprised if you find that he is connected to a local cell.
And, you know, there was just a hit there in March with a guy just stopping, stabbing, running people over. So people of England are really under siege right now. They got that sense anyway. Paul, thanks so much.
Always a pleasure.
Okay.